Hi, I'm Katie and welcome to my channel. If you hear squeaking, that is my dog because the only thing that's stopping her from interrupting this video is her playing with the squeaky toy. So we're just gonna allow that to happen. Anyway, today I am going to be doing the no disclaimers tag. I was tagged by Nico at Nico's Book Reviews, who has a great channel. I feel like when he talks about books, he really does know what he's talking about and puts a lot of care into what he says. So that makes watching his videos like very enjoyable for me. So being a part of the Wizardly Duo being a part of the Wizardly Duo Discord has really helped me learn a lot more about reading, open my eyes to a bunch of books out there that I never would have heard of. So yeah, check them out. So I have a list of questions on my laptop that I'm going to be going through. So I'm really excited to talk about all these prompts. They're very thought-provoking and it's gonna be a lot of fun. The first question of the tag is, which trope in books annoys you the most? For me, that is going to be when a villain's main motivation is power. That just feels very not thought out to me and slightly unrealistic. And that just kind of makes me not like a book as much as I should. I really like when there's more backstory and layers to villains because villains actually end up being the most interesting characters to me. And I love seeing what shapes them to cause them to act the way that they do. And when their only motivation is power and you don't get anything else, that just really makes me angry, and I get so frustrated when that happens. I'm like, this is it? Like, that's all? That's actually a reason why I had a big issue with Vengeful in the Villain series by B.E. Schwab. I can't deal with that. I need layers. I just really like when authors put a lot of thought into their villains and don't just put them there to be someone for the hero to go against. I like when there's a lot of information about the hero and the villain. It just makes it more of a dynamic relationship between them and makes me a lot more interested in what I'm reading. So yeah. The second question is, which writers do you feel are overrated or overhyped? I haven't really read multiple works by authors before, so I don't really know how well I can answer this. But if I had to pick an answer, I'd maybe say Taylor Jenkins Reid, just because I did read Daisy Jones and the Six, and I felt that it was very overhyped. I feel like a lot of booktubers talk about how much they love that book, how amazing it is. And I wouldn't say that it was bad, but it definitely didn't live up to the hype. I feel like everyone keeps saying how much they love it, and I just didn't really get that from it. So that makes me really nervous to read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, just because I know that's a big booktube favorite. And I don't want to be disappointed by something that is very talked about like that. So I guess I would say her if I had to pick. The third question is, what are your least favorite books that you have read since joining BookTube? Luckily, I haven't really read any bad books since I made my channel. I mean, I've only been here for like a month or a month and a half, but I don't know. But I haven't read anything that was like disappointing. So I guess that's really good. And if I like had to pick something, maybe like a couple weeks before I made my channel, I read The Midnight Library, which I found to be kind of disappointing, which I'm pretty sure I talked about in another video. So yeah, I mean, that if I had to pick, I'd say that, but like since making my channel, it's been pretty good. The fourth question is, what is a terrible ending that ruined an otherwise quality book? I've talked about this before, so I apologize for bringing it up again, but More Than This by Patrick Ness. I'm pretty sure this is like the 5th time I've mentioned this book, and I've have like less than 10 videos, but it's okay. This would have been a perfect book if there were a couple things in the ending that didn't happen. It wasn't like the end of the world that these things happen. I wouldn't consider it a terrible ending. I just felt like everything was sudden and there was not enough dialogue and thoughts of the character that led up to this to make it make sense. So that's what made me give it 4 out of 5 stars instead of 5. So yeah, that's really the only thing I can think of. I apologize for always talking about this book. Yeah, I mean, it's that or I don't answer the questions, so sorry. Number 5 is, which fictional characters do you wish had not been killed off? I'm going to say, spoilers for Jurassic Park, even though probably everyone knows, But this didn't happen in the movie, it only happened in the book. But I was very upset when Ian Malcolm died. I was so upset. Just because I didn't think it was gonna happen because he's such a big character. So then when he did die, I was sad. But I also thought it was really interesting to read about him kind of like descending into madness a little bit. Like as he was dying, his thoughts just kind of weren't making as much sense, which was, I mean, I mentioned this in my Jurassic Park review. Not that I liked watching, not watching, reading someone die. It was really interesting. I don't know. But yeah, I wish it didn't happen. I wish she was like saved in the end, like a fairy tale or something. But you know, can't always get what you want. So the next question is, what is your bookish pet peeves? I don't know if this is like a pet peeve exactly, but I low-key hate first-person point of view. And I wouldn't consider it a pet peeve just because there are so many books written that way, and there are many great books written that way, so I wouldn't say it's fully a pet peeve, but it makes me less want to read a book if it's written in first-person point of view. And I just find it a lot less enjoyable. I think the reason why I do like third person is because I can let my imagination interpret the character's actions, thoughts, and interactions with others. And when a book is in first person point of view, you don't really get the ability to do that. You watch everything happen from the character's eyes and point of view, like completely. Like there's no, you can't fully interpret it for yourself because someone else is already doing that for you. And that kind of just leaves a little bit less of an escapism aspect of reading for me. And I just find it less enjoyable, less intriguing. I can't get fully immersed in something when I'm just in someone else's shoes completely. I don't know. I mean, it's not like a turn off. Like if there's a really good book out there that's in first person point of view, I'm not gonna be like, no, I'm not gonna read that because it's in first person point of view. But if I have books that I am looking to read and trying to pick which one, if I see one's in third person and the other's in first, I'm probably gonna pick up the third person. And yeah, I don't know if that's a pretty common thing or not. I think there are some people who agree with me, but I mean, whatever floats your boat is good for you. There's nothing wrong with first person point of view. If that's what you like, that's cool. If that's what you write, that's cool. I will still probably enjoy it, just I can't get myself to be fully immersed in it as I would a book written in third person point of view. The next question is, what is a book that you feel should have more recognition? I'm actually gonna say a play, which I know is like a little different, not expected, but I'm gonna say Betrayal by Harold Pinter. It's a pretty quick read because it is a play. It's not like it's only dialogue, you know, but I really like it. I want to reread it. I haven't read it in like a year and a half almost, but I really enjoyed it. This is about there's actually only 3 characters in the play. I mean, technically 4, but one of them's like barely there. And there's 3 characters. 2, Robert and Emma, are married, and Emma and Jerry are having an affair, which you learn like right at the beginning. It's not a spoiler. And it's told in reverse chronological order, which is also really interesting to me. So the book starts when Emma is telling Jerry that she's gonna tell Robert about the affair. And then Jerry's like, what? No, you can't do that. And then he finds out that Robert already knew. So then you just kind of look through different scenes between the characters, how they have all betrayed each other over the past, I think it spans 7 years. And the dynamics between everyone is just so interesting. There's a lot of kind of like a sarcastic humor in there. I think that's the best way I could describe it. I think Pinter is very famous for his pauses between dialogue, which I also saw this live on Broadway, so that's also why I really like it. But even reading it, I enjoyed it. And if you are looking for a play, I would suggest this one. Yeah, I just thought I'd throw that in there. Why not? And the last question is, what are your thoughts about censorship and banning books? I talked about this with Grace shortly before filming this video, and we kind of had similar thoughts. I was having a little bit of trouble like verbalizing it, so that's why I talked to her. But basically, I feel that if you're gonna ban a book, chances are someone's gonna read anyway. Read what you want to read. And I think it's important to start conversations about what we are reading. And see, I'm really bad at talking about things like this. But if someone really wants to read a book, they're gonna do it. So I think banning it, I don't know if that's gonna work. When reading something that's considered controversial, I think it's really important to not just read it and move on. I think it's important to sit with what you've read, start conversations with others, and if there are things that are considered like wrong or outdated about the book, it's important to recognize that and express that as well. That was probably terrible, but I think you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, so I guess that's how I feel. I don't know. So that is all the questions for the no disclaimers tag. Thanks again to Nico for tagging me in this. I'm going to tag 2 of my friends that I've made since starting BookTube who I really enjoy watching their videos. The first one is Dominish at Dominish Books. He reads a lot of fantasy, and when he talks about the books that he's read, he sounds very into what he's reading. He really wants to tell everybody how he feels about it, and it could just be because he's British, but he sounds very like sophisticated when he's talking about the books, and British people just automatically sound sophisticated to me, but he really knows what he's talking about. He's read a lot of books, a lot of fantasy books. A lot of my TBRs come from his videos, so I highly recommend that you check his channel out. And the last person I'm going to tag is Lawrence from Reading with Lawrence. I love her channel. I love her taste in books. Every time I watch one of her videos, there's a book that I want to read like right now that she talks about. I feel like we have very similar tastes, and she reads a lot of everything across all genres, which is really interesting to me, and I really like watching her, so check her channel out as well. If you like this video and any of my other videos, feel free to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. That's literally how I end every video. Does anyone like know what else I could say at the end? Like, it's literally, I don't know what to do. I can't. All right, bye.